Hello and welcome to WYCC.org for In the Loop, the after show. Joining us are journalist and TV personality Darryl Dennard, Amisha Patel, executive director of the Grassroots Collaborative, and Mark Brown, columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So the new concealed carry law in Illinois has already had some hiccups. More than 300 applicants were rejected because part of the course they took was online. Any thoughts on how this new law is working out, Darryl?
I think it's going to have to wait a while to really determine that. So far, I guess there's only been really one incident that the law had come into effect. People have to look at other states where this exists and kind of look at the timeline there and the various incidences that were breaches of the law before we can really make a full assessment of the impact of the law.
We've already had several instructors, though, it turns out, lose their licenses because they weren't qualified for one reason or another.
I think that there's a lack of regulations, period, when it comes to guns in this country. And I think the broader question here is around gun violence and the fact that I think out of every 100 people in the U.S., there are 89 firearms. It's crazy, right? And again, guns don't cause violence, but it certainly changes the outcome when a gun is involved. And we look at the number of homicides facing Chicago and the rest of this country, it's absolutely connected to the ease of having a gun and now in Illinois being able to carry one.
You know, someone argued, I'm sorry, go ahead. Someone argued that the people that are causing the crime are not people who would be registered gun owners or would go to the courses. These are illegal guns that have come into the city.
Well, yes, but you know, now I was opposed to concealed carry and understanding that in other states it hasn't probably caused that many problems. But you know, we're going to see problems, and we're going to see law-abiding people like. I think this guy was a landlord that got in trouble. He somehow was allegedly threatening somebody over rent money. I know a lot of landlords, you know, ahead of the law were telling me, you know, boy, they need to carry a gun to, you know, collect the rent. I mean, it's just going to be problems like that. People, you get a gun, some people are going to want to throw their weight around with it, and it's going to cause trouble. But well, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And the case you're talking about is this man on the Northwest Side who was arrested for brandishing a gun because he got into some dispute about money.
I just think we're gonna see that. I don't think there's that many people yet that have the permits. But as the year goes along, I think we'll see more stories like this. But I don't know. It's the law. I don't know how we're going to get around it. We're just going to have to try to keep the peace as best we can. God bless the police for you know. having to deal with it.
I think you are aware, much more so since law has been implemented, how many institutions that you go to right now where you see that white, you know, silhouette of the gun with it being banned before you actually go in there.
But who enforces that, really?
I agree, but it's just a ubiquitous testimony to the fact that this is a reality that we're dealing with. Just last year, you wouldn't go anywhere and see something like that.
I'm not looking for the signs so much as I'm looking at the back of people to try to figure out if they're carrying now. You know, you just start to wonder.
One of the arguments for this law is that it made some people feel safer. Does anybody feel safer?
That's the right group.
It's a known fact, you know, that if you have a gun in the house, the instance of you being killed by that gun goes up so disproportionate to you not having that gun around. So, you know, I'm not one that believes in guns. So, really speaking to the wrong individual, I've never even really desired to touch one. Even though when I was a kid, I had them. I had my old little Colt 45s and played with guns. Not real guns, of course. These were
That's a big difference.
These were cap guns, you know, but as a kid, that's what we played with at the time. As I became an adult and I saw the devastating impact of guns, I don't even, with my grandchildren now, I would never think of buying them a toy gun.
I mean, I think that, you know, the question of will people feel safer having a gun, I think the folks who every day don't feel safe, this isn't going to change the game for that. It's like the people are living in neighborhoods that haven't had the investment and the resources that they need. Being able to carry a gun now is only going to actually cause greater problems, and it's not going to lead to safety for anybody in this. I think real safety comes about economic policies that actually address the reasons for that for the violence happening in the first place.
I totally agree with her, but there are definitely people who feel safer carrying a gun. By and large, I don't like those people, but They're out there, and they've got some sentences in the Constitution that back them up, and.
And Illinois was the very last state in the United States.
Amazing, isn't it? That we were the last holdout. I love that distinction, but we've lost it. Never to return, I'm afraid.
On that note, we have to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Darryl Dennard, Amisha Patel, and Mark Brown, thanks. Until next week, goodbye.
Goodbye.